All right, so what's your name?
My name is Suzette Valderas.
Okay, so go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I recently graduated from the University of Houston. I was born here in Houston, but my parents were born in Mexico.
Okay, so how many languages do you speak?
I speak two.
Okay, so what is your native language?
My native language is Spanish.
Okay, so how old were you when you began learning English?
When I began learning English, it would probably be around maybe 4 or 5. I was in pre-K and I started learning Spanish first.
Okay.
And from there, they started kind of feeding in a little bit of English.
Okay, so how do you think that has really just affected your proficiency with learning English?
I feel like it has helped me because starting young is always ideal. Things stick to you better. And as you're growing and learning more English, you're able to correct whatever needs correcting, if that makes sense.
Yes. So, what were the methods you used to learn English?
Methods I used, well, it started out when they started playing TV for me in English.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I would watch Spanish cartoons, but like Dora, for example, here in America, it's English, but they say words in Spanish. Well, in the Spanish version, it's the other way around. So we would listen to Dora in Spanish, but she would bring in English words. And you just kind of picked up on like actions that characters would use on the TV and their English words, and it just kind of helped you learn better, as well as reading books. Bilingual books definitely helped.
Okay. So did you start learning English in school, or like did you have a teacher that helped with that, or?
I had ESL classes, so they definitely helped me learn better English, but I did start at home.
Okay. So when you were starting to learn English at home and then again also at school, how did you feel was the best way to learn English?
I would say practicing it. So we had flashcards where you had to match the English with the Spanish. I guess it just kind of depends on what kind of learner you are, and I learned by doing. So anytime I got my hands on practice games and everything like that, that helped.
Okay. So when you were first learning English, what were some of the first words that you learned to say?
Probably the basics, so like how to say hi and your name, introductory things like that. Definitely food.
Okay. Right. So what strategies did you use to learn those vocabulary terms in English?
A lot of matching with pictures.
Okay. So how do you feel that learning English benefited you?
It kind of opens your world up. You have twice as many ideas coming in. You're more connecting to both cultures. So like I learned Mexican Spanish, so I was connected to my Mexican roots as well as the American way of life.
Okay, so that's very interesting. So would you say that there are different, in the Spanish language, there's like different ways of speaking Spanish, like in different countries?
Definitely.
Okay.
So certain words, like even just to say the word cool is different in a lot of Spanish languages. From my understanding, people that here in America learn Spanish, it's usually Spanish from Spain. So whenever friends would come to me for help, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means.
No. So, why do you feel that some people struggle more than others when learning a second language?
Sometimes it's what language you're starting out with. So apparently the English language is one of the hardest to learn. Certain languages have Latin roots, which makes it easy to learn another one. So I took French for 4 years, and it was pretty easy to correlate certain terms and prefixes, things like that.
Okay. So did you feel that it was better to learn English as a child?
Definitely. You pick up things better.
Better than as an adult, you would
Yes.
say. Okay. So Are there some words in your native language that you find are similar to other languages?
Not that I can think of on top of my head, but there definitely are some, especially so I work retail, and whenever people from Brazil come in, they're able to communicate with me, and I'm able to communicate with them, even though they speak Portuguese and I speak Spanish, because of our Latin roots that we bring in. So there are certain words that you can easily pick up on.
Okay, and lastly, what difficulties did you encounter when you were learning how to speak English?
Conjugating
Okay.
definitely was difficult. Whenever you have to also refer to things in the male or female sense.
Right. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Well, thank you so much. Bye.